Check 1, 2, 3.
What's up? You know what we talking? We ain't playing over here at LFG.
Haters gonna say, we from LFG, boy. We take you to the moon.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome.
Hello.
And today we have quite a few interesting guests and a ton of news to cover as well. And my co-host for tonight is Dazzle, the newest addition
Hello.
to LFG family. How you doing?
Good, thank you. Thank you for the warm intro. My name is Dazzle. I recently joined LFG Incorporated about a month ago, so I'm super excited to learn everything that we'll be doing, and can't wait.
Yes, absolutely. And just really quickly, I wanted to talk about what is going on and what we're doing tonight. And I'm going to kick things off with LFG because LFG Incorporated consists of industry veterans, and some of us have been in the industry for decades. And we've seen every kind of exit scam, and we do have a soft spot in our hearts for projects that are looking to reboot, that are looking to bolster their communities and just step up their game. And when we saw SafeMoon DAO, we saw the perfect opportunity to lend a helping hand with our expertise and our tech. And tonight, our wonderful guests are Enrique and Nick from SafeMoon, as well as Jason Brink from DataGram. And we're going to be covering a few topics, but I do want to kick things off with Enrique and Nick. Gentlemen, how are we feeling? How is the DAO life treating you so far?
Good evening, everyone. Hopefully you guys can hear me. My name is Nick. I'm one of the council members that's helping rebuild the SafeMoon ecosystem. Loving the DAO. I've been telling everyone ever since we transitioned into a DAO, automatically it gave our token some utility, right? It's just amazing foundation. Very pleased with the overall DAO. The participation's there, and we can definitely see the value of the DAO because the underlying, reason as to why DAO should exist is to give everyone a fair voice, right? So, very happy with the DAO.
Yeah, I do feel like it's a perfect. Oh, Enrique, you're muted. Oh,
I was just going to say, hey there, I'm Enrique Trades. I'm also a council member for SafeMoon. Been around since February, and I've seen the DAO grow quite a bit since I came on board. I think we've doubled in size. So happy to see that the DAO continues to grow.
yes, absolutely good to see. And speaking of growing and things developing for SafeMoon DAO, we did just see a pretty big vote wrap up last weekend, and I definitely want to talk about that. But let's address the elephant in the room. And I know that Nick sort of covered it already, but so what is SafeMoon DAO and how did all of this start? Where did you two start? How did you become a part of the DAO, and what does the future look like?
Yeah, well, for me, just a brief background. I was a holder since 2021, right? I was just in the process of learning DeFi and Web3 overall. I stumbled upon SafeMoon, the community. I, first purchased my tokens and stuff, joined, created a Twitter or an X account, joined Discord, and I instantly fell in love with the community, right? Because we all have a mutual understanding on how things should be with respect to creating long-term value for our holders. So first of all, to everyone who participated in last week's voting, thank you so much. It really means a lot. Yeah, we had a non-executable proposal last week in regards to gauging sentiment as to whether or not our holders want an NFT launchpad, and this is where you guys come into play. We really appreciate you guys for being here, but yeah, that's just basically the summary or brief background of how our DAO works, right? With the entire voting thing, I always tell people that voting, it's not strictly for politics or government or business decisions. It's present in all aspects of life, right? I remember when I was in first grade, our homeroom teacher asked us which movie we should all watch, right? It doesn't have to be that complex, but it's the whole process of inclusion. But I'm very excited with the outcome of last week's proposal.
Yeah, there were two quite big things that I'm looking forward to covering, especially the nodes. Oh, I mean the course. Sorry about that, folks. And yeah, I may as well address this right now. So there's a big difference between nodes and cores, and we've seen cores in action, and we've seen nodes in action as well. And what nodes do is fairly simple. As for example, Ethereum nodes, they store all of the data on chain and they run verification, and it works perfectly fine. But what cores do takes it a step further, because for example, you know what, Nick, how do you feel about talking about what SafeMoon cores are going to be doing and what the plans are there?
Yeah, so as far as I know, the SafeMoon cores, essentially it's a way to revive the old SafeMoon vision, because the old SafeMoon vision, just like I mentioned, it kind of the vision was to create long-term value and basically a sustainable future for the ecosystem. I believe this, for example, the NFT launchpad, right? So that's one aspect of the ecosystem. But to amplify that, we can introduce the tokenomics of the protocol. The burn mechanism, the auto liquidity, um, incentivize the node holder. So that's basically the key aspect of the of what we're building, is to incorporate what was before. The reason why is, a lot of people fell in love with SafeMoon. But I'm excited with the whole what's gonna be, in the next couple of weeks, next couple of months, and this is a great start for the community.
It absolutely is. And while we are on the topic, we just talked about voting and how important it is, especially how important it is for a DAO, because again, governance should be spread across everyone in the community. What are some of the other ways people can contribute to the SafeMoon DAO and the overall community?
Sure. So I think it's safe to say that in reality, not everyone's gonna participate in all of the votes, right? I think, and that's not to say that, like, people don't want to participate and make changes. That's just, and that's the reason why there's a feature with our DAO, the delegation process, right? If you're not fully active, you can, delegate your tokens. But this is what I like about our DAO. It's, we have a lot of participation. Right when we transitioned to, we launched on Solana, right? We're on the Solana network now, and right when we launched it, right off the bat, it gave our tokens some utility. And this is what I like about our DAO. It gives everyone an opportunity.
It absolutely does. And Jason, how are things on the DataGram side? I'm very excited to hear about the unblockable VPN.
They're going well. They're going very well over here. I'm super happy to be on here and chatting with all of you guys. I've been following this. I think it's fair to say SafeMoon has a saga. I think that's a fair statement. I've been following the SafeMoon saga for some time, kind of, peripherally, because it was never something that I personally got involved in. Sort of back in the day, I was doing other stuff back when SafeMoon first launched. And it's been really cool to watch what you guys have done in terms of bringing the community on board and getting community engagement. And there are very few. Excuse me. I literally just woke up like 5 minutes before this thing started, so my voice is not yet,
Awesome.
turned on. It's very cool to watch the way that you guys have brought the community together. It's a community that, from what I can see, has been pretty badly kicked around over the years, and it's really good to see, someone coming together and uniting that. community has been the absolute core of pretty much everything that I've always done in this space, and that includes all of my previous projects, what I'm doing now at DataGram, and especially when you look at DPIN, right? Like, there's no such thing as a DPIN without a community, because you need operators to run hardware for the DPIN to function, and you need that to be an actual community. If you don't have a community, you don't have a DPIN. And so I'm very excited to see where you guys are going with this.
Honestly, so far, if we look at the big picture with the VPN that can be blocked and with the community that can be shaken, because honestly, the SafeMoon DAO, the SafeMoon community is probably the most resilient community in the crypto space. And with those two together, is this what the industry refers to as an indestructible tech stack?
I would never, ever stand up and say that this is an indestructible tech stack, just because it's saying something is an indestructible tech stack is kind of like getting on board the Titanic and being like, look, this ship will never be sunk. That'll never happen. This is unsinkable. I don't like to court fate in that way. However, when you combine DPIN with a strong community and applications like VPNs and things like that, it gets very it helps a lot, because then you have more people running more software that allows for more movement and bounces throughout the ecosystem, which helps the functionality of the VPN in general. So, we're very excited to have the entire SafeMoon network is part of the DataGram core substrate.
That is great to hear. Okie dokie. So I would like to bring this back to SafeMoon a little bit, because I do want to talk to you guys about the NFT Launchpad as well as the SafeMoon cores. So with the Launchpad, the way I understand it, this is the spot to go to start your NFT collection, surely because it is going to be the easiest way to do it. First of all, it is incredibly convenient. I did run through it the other day. And on top of that, it is fairly affordable, with the pricing scaling, I believe, from about $5 to $50 per release tier. So what are the plans there, and what kind of NFT collections do you guys anticipate? Should I be looking out for more meme dogs?
Well,
dog.
first of all, right, and NFTs NFTs in general do have value, right? They present a use case. Most of the things that we own right now that represent who we are share the same characteristics as an NFT. So the concept's not new. The concept is definitely not new. I guess the only difference is that it's new in the sense that blockchain and Web3 and DeFi is integrated. But to your point, you're asking about what types of NFTs. Well, this is, I guess, an opportunity for the SafeMoon holders to create something that adds value, because a lot of people are also asking me like, hey, why NFT Launchpad? Like, we can do this, we can do that, you can do that. Well, you know what? Like, I'm also not going to pretend that NFTs don't have a bad reputation based on how things were in the past couple of years. So I understand where they're coming from. So this will be a great opportunity, like, on top of the protocol integrated with the NFT Launchpad, but this will be an opportunity for the community. It's a big community, right? It's what Jason was saying. It's a big community. So this will be an opportunity for them to showcase their skills and their talent to create something that has value. Like, I've never personally created an NFT on my own, but I do understand their place, their value, and what utility they bring to the table.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right. I find myself talking about this all the time, because I feel like we're sort of at this at this precipice, right? With all of the digital media being yanked off the shelf, whether or not you've purchased it before, whether or not you paid for it. And you're also right that the concept is not new, because I do see it every day with everything I interact. And I just don't think people really understand the value behind NFTs because of the few bad apples that spoiled the bunch. And listen, I'm looking forward to seeing what the DAO can do with the tools that you guys put together. And I do want me more NFTs. I do like a good PFP for sure.
Yeah, this is just one, one list on our list, right? It's just one item on our list, I mean. So yeah, I'm definitely excited to see where this will take the community, because it's all about interaction, right? Right now it's we need more interaction because of, people are expecting more. But this will be a great way for them to come back and say, hey, look guys, SafeMoon is still here. We're still, the goal is still trying to integrate the old vision to make it feel like it's still SafeMoon, right? We're not gonna strip away all that. It would be such a waste to really change the whole look of the company, of the
Identity.
brand.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, and I have a question for Dazzle, actually, because, well, with the DAO vote just wrapped up last week and the NFT Launchpad Live, there's actually a collection on there already.
Mhm.
And so we know the Launchpad supports things like royalties, referral rewards, but the real question is, how do we get people to actually use it? What is this strategy to get artists and creators to launch here on the SFM Launchpad as opposed to platforms like OpenSea or Blur?
Yeah, for sure. I love what Jason said, that there's no deep end without community. And I absolutely agree. It's what SafeMoon is about. So Launchpad isn't just about minting NFTs, it's about like building on a community-owned ecosystem. So every NFT you launch is stored across these SFM cores. And then that gives the collection a fully decentralized foundation. And then on top of that, the community benefits the broader SafeMoon ecosystem through burn for every NFT minting, as well as SFM core sold. So yeah, so we offer a launch environment that's community owned, server proof, and where the work is secured by thousands of nodes instead of just one company. We have seen some servers crash. I won't say what, but that's not going to be the case for here. Get them to build inside a community that actually supports, votes and really shows up, and not just another giant marketplace where they get lost in the noise. So it's going to be for the community, by the community. And I would like to just on top of that mention the north side where the meta and all the images are going to be uploaded. I would love to ask Jason on how the node works a little bit more, and maybe like on the DataGram side, what are some strengths and some of the the USPs of the DataGram node?
What we're doing with DataGram, and really the key thing that is relevant to most people, is the fact that there's verifiable uptime attached to the nodes. There have been in the past a lot of different projects that have had problems with over centralization surrounding uptime tracking, which isn't a great thing. So what we've done is we've created a way that uptime gets written to chain. And is verifiable, and we're in the process of putting together the dashboard that will make that available to the project operators. So this means that projects will be able to integrate the DataGram core substrate, as you guys are doing. They will be able to get verifiable information on their uptime that anyone can go and verify. Okay, which is really important, because when you have a DPIN, one of the biggest challenges is when you have somebody who feels like they got a little bit less than they, feel that they should have gotten, which is a very common feeling. They can have a chance to go and, sort of explore that and say, oh, look, you did not, your node was not reporting in from this time to this time. Therefore, since this is all driven by the chain, this is the way that this happens. So that's an important thing. Now, as we roll out other functionality, such as TCP and all of that, then we're going to begin doing a lot of the more heavy storage related things like this, which I believe LFG is working on as well with IPFS integration and all of that. So you're going to see a lot more of that. And, sort of storing your NFT metadata and your images and all of that on IPFS is kind of the gold standard for decentralized storage. And so that's something that we definitely want to support in the long run.
Amazing. All right,
So
back to you, Mark.
Thanks. I'm missing like a blazer for the back to you queue, but yeah. With the SFM course, so I know they're going to be doing just more than a few things, but I do want to sort of center our attention on the VPN functionalities, as well as providing storage for the DAO media. And I do want to talk about a little bit about how the VPN works, why decentralized VPN is better than the regular one, and what are the pitfalls and the willful ignorance of people just using free VPN or not necessarily even a free one. So Jason, how do you feel about shifting the privacy responsibility from your ISP to a third-party VPN provider?
Well, a lot of people use third-party VPNs. However, one really important thing to note is that if you're using a free service, regardless of what that free service is, you're the product, whether you like to admit it or not. And if that free service is something that is integral to the security of your information, and the information is the only information that is going through that network, then maybe it's not a good idea for that to be, sort of the product. So yeah, what one of the problems with traditional VPNs is that the endpoints are known. Okay, and if the endpoints of a VPN are known, then those endpoints can be blocked. And the nice thing about having something operating on the DataGram VPN network is those endpoints are constantly changing and evolving as nodes come up, go down, move around, whatever they happen to be. They're always changing what those endpoints are. So the way that we do this, we have a single hop architecture where essentially you connect to a node. It's a stateless connection that does not preserve any data. There's zero logging. There's zero, record keeping, and then that will pass you through to whatever your endpoint is. So it's the lowest latency possible, and a high quality of service, high throughput, but running through another service. So that always changes every time you connect. It'll change to a different point. So it's very difficult for somebody to publish a list and just cut them all off essentially.
Okay, so the residential IP advantage, it feels a little counterproductive, but it makes absolute sense because honestly, how much sense does a traditional VPN make? I mean, it works, it does what it's supposed to do, but if push comes to shove, you're not really privately browsing anything, are you?
I mean, you're on the internet. That never happens, unfortunately.
All right, that is fair enough. Okie dokie, we did have some questions here that I would like to throw at both Enrique and Nick. And again, so DAOs have a very interesting reputation in the space. And we've seen DAOs buy things like golf courses and rare art and other things that do not necessarily contribute to the well-being of the community and the project itself. And it's really great to see SafeMoon DAO building an infrastructure where the community can be a major part of the growth. And what are the plans for the SFM utility, and what does the future look like again?
Yeah, sure. So with the whole DAO, right? The whole purpose of creating the DAO was to ensure that moving forward, because it's kind of like the newly revamped SafeMoon, right? This is the foundation, the DAO. What we are trying to ensure is that whatever we propose, whatever we ask from the community to use for the from the treasury, it has to make business sense. It has to make business sense. Otherwise, it defeats the whole purpose, right? It's no different than running your own business, right? You got to treat this as your own, like your own personal, family business, right? If you have your own business, whatever it is, right, bakery or something, you wouldn't use your own funds in things that will jeopardize the operation and put things in a bad situation, right? The funds are there for a purpose, and we got to make sure that we're using it for the right reasons. And the goal, we all, whoever's still here, we all have a mutual understanding as to how the SafeMoon ecosystem should be run in order to create like a sustainable future. So future, like in terms of what we are going to propose in the future, can't disclose much, but one of them is definitely the merch store, where a lot of our community has been asking for that. But basically, we're just looking for ways to create value to our holders, whatever it is. So moving forward, hopefully everyone should be excited on what 2026 will bring for the ecosystem.
Wonderful news for everyone.
Absolutely.
Okie dokie. Dazzle?
Okay. All right, so I'll ask the next question for you guys, SafeMoon team. The SafeMoon community is arguably the most resilient force in crypto history. So you've stuck together through and through. What is about this specific group of people that keeps the bond so strong when the other communities fade away? So what is it about the SafeMoon community?
Sure, I'll start. From the beginning, we all have a mutual understanding on how to fix the monetary system, right? We can talk about SafeMoon, we can talk about whatever type, Bitcoin, Ethereum, but like, doesn't matter what crypto, the underlying reason as to why these projects launch is to fix a problem, right? And it's safe to say that a lot of the SafeMoon holders will tell you that this is their first crypto. This is how they got introduced to
Wow.
Web3. And then when you specifically ask them, what about SafeMoon, they'll tell you about the protocol. Like rewards for holders, things that will stabilize the ecosystem, like auto LP, the burn mechanism. They all see that, and regardless if it's just gibberish or just fancy words to a lot of people, once you explain to them as to what that is, they can kind of pinpoint as to, okay, so this is the fix to this problem in the financial market, this and that. And that's why it was easy for us to kind of stick around, and it would be such a waste to just throw away all of that, because we all collectively believe that SafeMoon still can be what it was intended when it's built on like real utility, community governance, and when you still focus on creating that long-term value for everyone, the holders, the ecosystem, everyone.
That's true. Yes, first crypto is always special.
Yeah, never forget though.
Yes.
Yeah, Dazzle, what was your first crypto?
It was Bitcoin. What about you guys? What about you, Mark?
Also Bitcoin. The Bitcoin I mined and then forgot about it and threw the laptop away. So same old. I feel like it's
no.
par for the course for the industry.
Yeah, I did that too.
Ouch.
I did that
Oh,
too.
no.
Everyone who's been here long enough has there's 1,000 BTC in a laptop somewhere that I chucked into a landfill like an asshole because reasons. It's part of it.
Yep. All right.
There you
Okay.
are. Oh. So Nick, was SafeMoon your first crypto?
Yes. So just like a brief background, I had a regular 9-to-5 job, and then I reached out to one of my friends. I'm like, hey, I need more, and I need more. And then he introduced me to foreign exchange trading. after a month, after 2 months, I'm like, hey, it's not for me, right? Do you have any other things that you can help me with? And then he's like, you know what, here, sent me a link to a Zoom call, and it was a class that he hosts. Well, he was a teacher, but he wasn't teaching that time. Basically, he was teaching about Web3, DeFi, wallets, NFTs, and the teacher was live, right? You could see him, and you could only see him.
Mhm.
He had a white background, a white board behind him, and there was like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Doge, FEG, and then SafeMoon. Right beside it, it had like percentage wise how much increase, like Bitcoin 10%. SafeMoon had like it was a questionable increase. I was like, what's going on with SafeMoon? So that's kind of how I got involved with SafeMoon, because it was just in your face, like you couldn't ignore it. And anyone in the space, not even current SafeMoon holders, they'll tell you, oh yeah, I remember SafeMoon had the world in the palm of their hands, right? SafeMoon was big that time. So yeah, SafeMoon was my first crypto. Yeah, I'll never
Wow.
forget that.
So it's also special for you.
It is very special to me. Yeah.
What about you and your good trades? What was your first crypto?
Mine was Bitcoin first, and then a friend of mine told me about SafeMoon, so got into that, started purchasing that, and then just started purchasing everything I can get my hands on. But
Nice.
SafeMoon was my second one. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Okay, and I did pick up a few questions from X, and formerly known as Twitter. I am gonna struggle reading this handle because it is a little long. So it's /account.base.eth link, a wave emoji, river tangerine emoji, a pill emoji. But the question is, tell us about SafeMoon DAO's governance timelines, and what does that look like?
Sorry, SafeMoon DAO's what? I didn't catch that.
SafeMoon DAO's governance timelines.
In terms of like next week we're gonna make a proposal on this. We like two things. We don't currently have anything that we can share right now. But at the same time, it is a community-based ecosystem, right? We have a Discord, we have a Telegram. We hear everyone's recommendation. Right now, the goal right now is to kind of just launch the NFT launchpad, introduce the nodes, as well as introduce the whole aspect of DePIN, right? That's pretty much, and like I said, there's a couple of things that we can't disclose, but with respect to the DAO, as of right now, I just highly encourage everyone to just go through the DAO, get to know the parameters, understand how it works, because it's still a brand new kind of system that we transitioned into, right? But yeah, as far as specific, like I know what they're asking, kind of like, oh, listings, blockchain, and a lot of good things happening. That's all I can say. Things that you guys will definitely be pleased. We've been here since day one, right? Like we're not gonna stop. All of the things that we're gonna provide to you through the DAO will have value to the ecosystem. I can guarantee that. We're here to ensure that the vision lives on. But yeah, that's pretty much what the DAO is. I can recommend just people just to get to know the DAO. Just go to the Realm. It's on the Realms platform, right? I forgot to mention that it's on the Realms platform. Yeah, just get to know the DAO, participate in the types, in any votes, just get to really know the navigation and all.
I gotta say, this sounds a whole lot better when it comes from a DAO representative as opposed to like a corporate figurehead, because you guys have really stuck it out, and you guys have stuck it out, and you really did put your money where your mouth is, and it's good to see these proposals. It is great to see the last proposal getting passed with flying colors, and really looking forward to your next steps and what's going to be happening there. And I'm going to bring up some QR codes on screen. With the DAO, I mean, not with the DAO, with the vote going through, we do have two things that went live with it. On the left, you have a QR code for the core sale, and on the right, you have a QR code for the NFT launchpad. And Dazzle, do you want to talk a little bit about the course and what that looks like?
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
Oh, do you want to talk a little bit about the SFM course and what that looks like?
Yeah, so we made so with the proposal being passed last week with flying colors, 93.3% voted yes. We are going to we are going to roll out some more announcements very soon. So I'd say stay tuned for upcoming announcements. We're going to bring all the announcements, all the details, instructions of what you need to do. So I will have to say stay tuned.
Ooh, stay tuned. I like that.
Yes. Yeah. And also, I'd just like to mention when Nick mentioned that they've been, together since day one. It's day one of the DAO. Just wanted to kind of re-emphasize that day one of the DAO.
No, great point. Right. Great
Yes.
point. And just to add to that, right. This is kind of like the feeling that I want people to experience when they participate in the DAO is that empowering feeling. Right? Because like, think about it. They participated in a vote. It passed. The NFT launchpad was finalized. And as a holder, you can't help but say like, I did that. You know what I mean? Like that was my voice. Like, and that's what I want people to feel when they participate in the DAO. It's there's more to it than just, there's more to the ecosystem than just, your listings and we have to take care of the foundation, and this is what I want people to experience when they go to our DAO.
Exactly. The community voted yes, and now the team is executing, and things will come out just how the community wanted.
And SafeMoon DAO is the perfect example of how a community really makes a difference. Because I feel like the role is majorly understated, the role of the community, because we see communities every day, whether it is for a video game, whether it is a Facebook group. And when it comes to Web3 projects, the communities really matter, and the passion they bring is entirely different because they understand what is going on, they understand the project intimately, they know the ins and outs, and they understand why whatever it is the project is working on, why the rest of the space needs that. And I'm just happy with the pairing we made, because it is really good to see a community with so much passion, and just to be able to provide them with the tooling necessary to channel that passion, to be able to turn the passion into something tangible. And again, it's good to see it's good to see you guys move. And just like you said, it doesn't happen often when you vote on something you can see an immediate result. And I'm really looking forward to more of these governance votes. I'm really looking forward to what you guys are going to be doing next. Okay, so let me take a look here. Just cracking open the questions.
I have a question for Jason, actually.
Ooh, go ahead.
So the community might be wondering, why is LFG Incorporated, DataGram, and SafeMoon doing an AMA together? How do we all connect?
we're as I understand it, I'm not sure whether they connected with DataGram first or LFG first. I don't recall which. But we have a few people that are peripheral to our organization that connected with them, and when it comes to the tech, the DataGram tech solution and all of that is very good for deep-in. And then when it comes to sales and customization and integration, LFG is the best that there is. And so it creates this nice happy little synergistic grouping here that we can all come on this and hang out and talk. And for me, it's really important because, again, with community being the core of everything, the SafeMoon has an amazing community, and they always have. And I think that it's fantastic for people to recognize that and to reward that community for that, and to do what we can to help them.
Amazing. Yes, that is exactly it.
Amazing indeed. We do have a question from Dragonfly from X, and they're asking, how will SFM cores tie into long-term DAO revenue flows? And I feel like Dazzle, you've already touched on this a little bit, because the system looks a bit like a flywheel. And as of now, with every core sold, SFM gets burned. And it works the same way with the NFT collections and the NFT sales. And I feel like there's going to be a whole lot more there. And again, Nika talked about this already. A lot of things are in action, but not much of it can be discussed publicly just yet, because we are looking to dot our I's and cross our T's, because we understand that it is a DAO. It's not a centralized company. So we want to make sure that we absolutely know what is going on, and we absolutely agree on all of the topics that we're discussing here. And with that said, I do have a question for Jason, because we did throw the word DeepIn around, and it is a bit of a hot buzzword right now. So Jason, how do we ensure that this just doesn't become another method of farming rewards and without creating real world utility?
Well, I mean, this is like the key to everything that we do, right? Is it's nodes that do things. Okay, so from a user's perspective, if a user wants to think of it as farming rewards, then that's fine. The user can think of it that way. That's not a problem. As long as that user is providing actual useful work that helps grow and protect the ecosystem, then that's great. There's no problem with that. I mean, you don't call going to work farming rewards, right? You go to your job every day. What are you doing? Well, I'm farming rewards. Like, yeah,
farming rent right now.
Farming rewards at McDonald's right now. Well, hold on. You have to proof of steak fries here. You're contributing to the ecosystem, and therefore you should be rewarded for that. No problems at all with that. I don't want to make it sound like people who do things to get rewarded are somehow bad. They're not. It's that you have to design an ecosystem that the rewards make sense, and that incentives are aligned across every different level of the community and the ecosystem, right? It's like that concept of the entrepreneurial metagame, right? Where, everyone, a DAO participant, okay, that's just a normal DAO participant, is going to have different goals and incentives than a node operator, who's going to have different goals and incentives than somebody who's buying an NFT, so on and so forth. And so you have to build an ecosystem that, specifically identifies and addresses the concerns of each of these different groupings, and aligns those incentives across all the groups.
Okay, that's fair enough. Honestly, I am going to start referring to work as like farming rent money, farming lunch money. I feel like that's a good way to describe it. And Jason, while we have you here, I have one more question for you. So the Hyperfabric network, and in simple English, if I send a file or stream a video on the DataGram substrate that is powering practically anything that we're talking about right now, what is happening different under the hood?
Well, it depends on specifically what's happening, right? So if you were to use our real-time communication via UDP protocol, right, which anyone can access at demo.datagram.network, right, by the way, you have a call that's just like a Zoom call or Google Meet or whatever, but isn't going through a centralized service at all. You're having a direct peer-to-peer connection through the node network with whoever it is that you're talking to on the other side. This is different because, unlike all of the other services that exist out there, Okay, this is actually end-to-end encrypted. This is, nobody is in the middle. It's not passing through a server that's, taking a copy of it or anything like that. It's its own unique thing. And that is something that is extremely important in terms of privacy and things like that. So from just a simple communication standpoint, that's a pretty powerful thing.
Okay, I understand. It is honestly all magical, just without the middleman, without the risk. In my layman terms. And Dazzle, I do have a question for you as well, because most people think about crypto as just magic internet money, but we're building physical infrastructure here. And in 5 years with LFG, what does the internet look like? Is it faster? Is it cheaper? Is it freer?
Ooh, I guess in 5 years, internet would be running on more decentralized physical infrastructure, like kind of what LFG Incorporated is building with DataGram at the moment. That brings shift in more freedom, more privacy, less censorship, and more resilience. So, like instead of relying on like few centralized servers that could go down or get censored or shut off access, in 5 years, hoping to see, far less censorship, stronger privacy, more uptime, and internet owned by users. I don't know about how much free would be, but those are the things I foresee to see in hopefully by 5 years. So future becomes less vulnerable to centralized downtime and more aligned with people who actually use the internet.
Oh, power back to the people. I like that.
Yeah.
And we've sort of been tiptoeing around a certain company that is to blame whenever internet breaks, and I feel like we should point it out. Because when was the last AWS outage or Cloudflare outage? How did that affect you guys? What weren't you able to do when that happened?
I wasn't able to buy my NFT collection on certain platform.
Oh, is that because all of the metadata and all of the images and graphics for the NFTs on popular platforms like OpenSea are stored on centralized AWS cloud servers? Is that it?
It's not entirely true. It's not entirely true. It's up to the NFT collection, even on places like OpenSea. The NFT collection, the people who create that have the ability to state where that metadata is. So some of them do it on centralized things, obviously, but that's not the gold standard, if you will.
Okay, that's fair enough. But we do have an easy solution for everyone. With SafeMoon NFT Launchpad, you do have the option to store NFT metadata as well as the graphics directly on chain, so you would not have to worry about Amazon engineers spilling kombucha all over their servers somewhere in California. But it does a whole lot more than that, folks. I do urge you guys to check it out. It is currently live. You can start playing around with the platform and see what it does and how it works. You can do that by checking out the links in the description, or you can scan the QR code on the right side of the screen right next to Nick right there. And I feel like I've seen enough like cat and dog PFP NFTs. I'm looking forward to something different, maybe like hedgehogs. How do you feel about hedgehogs, Basil? Honey badgers,
Sure.
actually. Never mind.
Sure. Or capybaras, the ones that are popular at the moment.
Capybaras. I thought quokkas were like the new hot cute animal right now.
Sure. Anything cute. Anything cute would be good. Yes, I will
Anything
definitely mint one.
I like that. Okay, so I think we're just about done here. We're running up on time because I do want to let Jason go. So, folks, do you have any final thoughts about what is going on before I proceed to wrap this up? Nick, Enrique?
Yeah, just final thoughts. I'll just tell
No, nothing from my end except I just.
Oh,
I was just going to say I just invite people to join the SafeMoon DAO and contribute into any future proposals we have in the voting and governance.
That's right. So, become a part of a real DAO where votes happen, and after the votes happen, things actually happen. Go figure. And Nick, I know you had something to say.
Oh no, just to add to what Enrique was saying, right? Right now we have a DAO. We have a proper governance structure now. So I think we gotta utilize that. I just want to thank all three of you guys for being here. Future wise, I'm very looking forward to the whole deepen space. I think that's the perfect marriage for both Web 2 and Web 3. I think crypto's been here 2009, 2010. I think it's time to really involve the entire industry, right? It's not to say that Web3, DeFi, all that, it's not important. It's definitely important. The question is, should we force all of this to people, to the entire world, right? It's the DAO and the deepen. I'm very excited for both of that. So just for future, we just stick around, contribute and make suggestions to the DAO, and we're here. We have a Telegram, we have a Discord. Just let us know what we should be doing moving forward.
That's right, folks. There is an open invitation to join SafeMoon DAO and talk to the rest of the DAO. Talk about what's going on. Suggest things you feel like should be talked about, things that maybe should be looked further into. And with that said, folks, the SafeMoon NFT Launchpad is live right now, and I want to urge everyone to go check it out. Start working on your NFT collection. If that is something you've been thinking about, this is going to be the easiest, the most affordable, and most convenient way to start your NFT collection. And again, all of the data that comes with the NFT, whether it is metadata, whether it is the visuals for it, all of it is going to be stored on chain, so you don't have to worry about AWS outages. And this is what real decentralization looks like. We don't want to be hung up on cloud servers that we don't have control over. Is that right? And one more thing before I let you guys go. Do check out the SFM course. We have a nifty FAQ section right on the page. You can access it with a QR code on the left-hand side or by the link in the description. And thank you so much for tuning in. I do want to thank Enrique and Nick. I don't think you guys have appeared on camera before, and I'm very happy that you guys did. Thank you so much for coming on. And Jason as well, thank you for coming in and talking about DataGram and how all of this plugs in. And I think we're going to wrap it up here. Dazzle, anything?
Thank you for watching, everyone.
Thank you guys so much.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you, guys.
Make sure to
Thank
like,
you,
follow, and
guys.
subscribe wherever you see this. Okay, bye.